Today in Europe. At this time, the Columbia Broadcasting System brings you the latest foreign news direct from important European war capitals. Tonight we shall attempt to bring the news from Amsterdam and from Helsinki. Edward R. Murrow, chief of the Columbia European staff, has just arrived in Amsterdam.
In the early morning of September 1st, 1939, the world changed forever. German tanks rolled across the borders of Poland, and the Second World War erupted. Within weeks, alliances formed, armies mobilized, and nations braced for a conflict the likes of which humanity had never seen. Cities would be razed, economies shattered, and millions of lives irreversibly altered. Yet, amid the visible chaos of battlefields and bombings, another war was quietly unfolding. One fought in the shadows, in secret rooms, encrypted codes, and underground bunkers. This hidden war was a battle of intelligence, deception, and daring missions, waged alongside tanks, aircraft, and infantry. To understand the full story of World War II, we must step beyond the headlines and into the secrets that history has left behind. Poland fell within weeks, as German blitzkrieg tactics combined speed, armor, and air power to overwhelm defenders. Britain and France declared war, but initial offensives on the Western Front were slow and indecisive, a period historians would call the Phony War. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union, bound by the secret Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact with Germany, invaded eastern Poland, carving out its share of territory. The world watched as alliances shifted, and the lines between friend and foe blurred. By 1940, Germany's dominance was nearly complete. Denmark and Norway fell in April. France was overrun by June, and the British Expeditionary Force evacuated from Dunkirk, under the eyes of advancing German forces. Winston Churchill, newly appointed Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, declared, "We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall never surrender." It was a statement of defiance. Yet, even as nations rallied their people and armies, the war was no longer confined to open battlefields. Behind every front, secret missions, espionage networks, and clandestine operations were already shaping the future of the conflict. The world at war was a labyrinth of strategy and subterfuge. Every movement could be observed, every message intercepted, every plan countered. If only you could break the codes, infiltrate the enemy, or deceive them in the right moment. From the bustling cities of London and Berlin to occupied Paris and the forest of Eastern Europe, individuals would risk everything, their lives, their freedom, and even their honor, to shape the outcome of history in secrecy. This is the story of those secret missions, the unsung heroes, the spies, the inventors, and the cryptographers whose actions never made the front page headlines, yet influenced the fate of nations. It is a story that spans the skies, the oceans, and the underground corridors of Europe, and even reaches the laboratories where weapons of unimaginable power were born. Tonight, we uncover the hidden history of World War II, the secrets that history tried to hide. While battles raged across Europe and the Pacific, some of the most decisive moments of World War II were fought far from the eyes of the public. In secret missions that required cunning, deception, and nerves of steel, these operations often carried impossible risks. Failure could mean not just death, but the loss of entire campaigns. Success, however, could shift the balance of power and save thousands of lives. In 1943, the Allies faced a critical question. Where would they launch their next major assault? Sicily, Italy, or Greece? British intelligence devised a plan so audacious that it sounds like a story from fiction: Operation Mincemeat. The operation involved using a dead man as bait. Clint or Michael, a homeless man who had died in London, was dressed as a British officer. Fake documents detailing an invasion of Greece and Sardinia were carefully placed in his briefcase. The body was then floated off the coast of Spain, where German intelligence agents discovered it. The Germans believed the documents were genuine. They shifted troops away from Sicily, leaving the island vulnerable. The invasion succeeded with fewer casualties than expected, all because of a corpse carrying false papers. It was a deception that relied on audacity, patience, and the enemy's willingness to believe in what they wanted to hear. On July 20th, 1944, a plot unfolded that could have changed the course of history. Operation Valkyrie was the brainchild of German army officers who opposed Hitler. Their goal: assassinate the Führer and seize control of the government. Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg, a decorated officer, carried a bomb hidden in a briefcase into Hitler's headquarters. The bomb detonated, but fate intervened. The oak table shielded Hitler, who survived with minor injuries. The conspirators were swiftly arrested and executed, yet their story revealed a Germany divided, a resistance within the heart of the Third Reich. and the high stakes of daring to oppose a tyrant across occupied Europe, the Allies relied on secret networks of trained operatives. The British Special Operations Executive, or SOE, sent agents behind enemy lines to sabotage railways, bridges, and communication networks. They trained men and women in espionage, explosives, and survival. One notable mission involved Operation Jedburgh. Teams of 3 Allied operatives parachuted into France to coordinate with the resistance. They organized sabotage missions, relayed intelligence, and prepared the ground for D-Day. Without these operatives, the success of Normandy landings would have been far more costly. These missions required courage under unimaginable pressure. Every step could betray them to the Gestapo. Every mistake could be fatal. Secret missions were not limited to Europe. In North Africa, Allied commandos struck deep behind enemy lines to disrupt Rommel's supply chains. In Norway, British forces carried out daring raids on heavy water plants, crucial to Nazi nuclear ambitions. In the Pacific, U.S. Navy submarines conducted covert reconnaissance and delivered special forces onto Japanese-held islands. Each operation, large or small, had the potential to alter the course of campaigns. The courage, planning, and ingenuity required for these missions reflect the hidden face of warfare, where success depended as much on brains as on bullets. While the world remembers tanks, bombings, and naval battles, it is these secret missions that quietly turn the tide of the war, from a corpse in the sea to a bomb hidden in a briefcase, from agents behind enemy lines to sabotage in occupied factories. Each act of cunning and courage changed history. It is a reminder that the outcome of war is often determined not only by armies and weapons, but by the unseen hands working in the shadows. While armies clashed on battlefields, another war was being waged in the quiet rooms of mathematicians, linguists, and cryptographers. The War of Codes, a hidden struggle of intellect and ingenuity, would decide the fate of nations. The German Enigma machine was considered unbreakable. It combined mechanical rotors, wiring, and daily changing settings to encrypt messages, with billions of possible combinations. German officers believed their communications were secure, but security is only as strong as those who attempt to break it. Hidden in the quiet countryside of Buckinghamshire, England, stood Bletchley Park, the nerve center of Allied cryptography here. Men and women worked tirelessly to intercept and decode enemy messages. Among them were mathematicians, linguists, chess champions, and crossword enthusiasts. Their work was perilous. Any leak could compromise entire operations, yet their efforts would shorten the war and save millions of lives. Alan Turing, a mathematical genius, led the charge against the Enigma. He designed an electromechanical device called the bomb, capable of testing thousands of possible Enigma settings per minute. By systematically breaking German codes, Turing and his team provided the Allies with a strategic advantage that changed the course of battles. Thanks to their efforts, U-boat wolf packs were intercepted. D-Day plans remained secret from the Germans, and countless lives were spared. Information was power. Code breaking allowed the Allies to anticipate enemy movements, reroute convoys, and execute surprise offensives. The intelligence gathered from Enigma decrypts, known as Ultra, remained a closely guarded secret even after the war. Without it, the outcome of battles like El Alamein, the Atlantic convoys, and D-Day may have been drastically different. The work done in the shadows at Bletchley Park laid the foundation for modern computing and cryptography. Alan Turing's theories gave birth to the computer age, while the secrets of code-breaking reshaped intelligence and warfare forever. In this hidden war of codes, intellect became a weapon, proving that not all victories are fought with bullets and bombs. While armies moved in the open, spies operated in the shadows. Espionage was a silent battlefield, where the lives of a few could alter the fate of millions. Double agents became some of the war's most critical assets. Juan Pujol Garcia, codenamed Garbo, was a Spaniard who played both sides. He fed German intelligence false information, inventing entire phantom divisions and fictitious operations. The deception was so convincing that the Germans were misled about the location of the D-Day invasion. Allied success in Normandy owed much to Garbo's intricate web of lies. In occupied France, ordinary citizens became extraordinary agents of defiance. The French resistance conducted sabotage missions, relayed intelligence, and guided Allied forces. Each act carried immense risk. Betrayal or capture often meant torture and execution, yet their courage disrupted German supply lines and provided critical support to the Allied advance. In the Pacific, intelligence networks gathered information on Japanese troop movements, codes, and installations. Agents risked their lives infiltrating occupied territories, providing crucial data for naval and air campaigns. Espionage, often invisible, was indispensable to strategic planning across multiple theaters of war. As the war progressed, nations raced to create weapons that could end battles before they began. From secret rockets to atomic bombs, technology became a hidden battlefield in its own right. Germany developed the Vita rocket, the world's first long-range guided missile. It struck London and Antwerp, leaving destruction in its wake. Werner von Braun, the rocket's chief engineer, would later help the United States reach the moon. Even in war, innovation knew no bounds. In the United States, the Manhattan Project remained one of the most closely guarded secrets of the war. Across Los Alamos, Oak Ridge, and Hanford, scientists harnessed nuclear fission to create a weapon of unimaginable power. In August 1945, Hiroshima and Nagasaki bore witness to the atomic age, a dark legacy born in secrecy, ending the war in the Pacific. Not all of World War II's secrets were military. Some were treasures lost to history. The Nazis plundered thousands of artworks from across Europe. Rembrandt's, Van Gogh's, and entire galleries vanished. Though much was recovered, countless masterpieces remain missing, hidden in bunkers, mines, or private collections. The Amber Room of St. Petersburg, a chamber of amber panels and gold, was dismantled by the Nazis in 1941. Its fate remains one of history's great mysteries. Treasure hunters continue the search to this day. Legends speak of a Nazi gold train buried in tunnels in Poland, laden with stolen riches. Despite extensive searches, its location remains unknown, a haunting reminder of the war's hidden treasures. The Second World War ended in 1945, but its secrets live on. The work of code breakers gave birth to computers. Rocket programs led to space exploration. Atomic research reshaped geopolitics forever. And the treasures and mysteries of war continue to intrigue historians and adventurers alike. World War II was not only a war of armies, but a war of secrets, fought in the shadows, where courage, intellect, and deception determine the fate of nations. History remembers the battles and the leaders, but behind every headline,